Let's talk about the types of people that you need to cut off from your life in order to elevate. Igama lami Ingwegazi Unokuthula. I am a neurodivergence traditional doctor as well as a spiritual baddie. I would greatly encourage you to subscribe to my community in order to have access to the live workshops that I have, as well as the group therapy sessions that I have scheduled coming up later this year. My definition of a spiritual baddie is a person who is aware of and present in their psychic, emotional, and shadow bodies. It's not gender specific, it's not age specific, it's not race specific. Anyone can be a spiritual baddie if they make the conscious effort to be a decent and aware human being. Being a spiritual baddie doesn't mean that you're perfect and all-knowing. It means that you actively choose to be present by focusing on your well-being and your elevation in life. It also means that you are aware of your greater purpose, whether it is within or without society, and then choosing to remain authentic regardless of what the environment around you looks like. Before we get into it, let's establish the following two facts. Most people are existing on autopilot. This means that they are not fully living in their purpose. They are simply existing. The second thing I want us to establish is that we are all at differing and various points of our spiritual awakening. Some of us are still at the denial stage. Some of us are still stuck at the narcissistic stage. Some of us might still be at the psychosis, aka the crash out stage, my personal favorite. Some of us are at the healing stage. Some of us are at the enlightened stage. Some of us are at the backsliding stage. And some of us might be at the executive stage. I would advise you to read up on the hero's journey in order to understand how this journey generally plays out and to maybe equip yourself with the information and skills to be able to navigate it as you navigate your own life in understanding who you are and what purpose you were sent to serve on this planet. In order to reach the executive stage and ideally remain there, we need to elevate ourselves from the lower levels of awakening and embrace our full potential, specifically our full subconscious and spiritual potential. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to become billionaires or we're going to be celebrities or we're going to never feel heartache again. No, that's simply not realistic. What it does mean is that we can and will be living in an honest, calm, and regulated plane. A plane that allows us to show up as who we truly are without the fear of being seen or choosing isolation, without the fear of rejection or being embraced, without the fear of failure and the fear of success, aka imposter syndrome. Now, before you take these types of people as gospel and you start picking them out and pointing them out in your own life, I need you to understand that you yourself must have done the work on yourself to ensure that you are able to recognize these traits within yourself first before recognizing them in other people. That means you must have done the work to recognize and integrate your shadow. You must have done the work to recognize your personality versus your persona. You must have done the work to recognize your anima, your animus, as well as the work to quiet your ego, also known as the ego death. If you find that you do exhibit some of these traits, then you know that you still have some work to do. And in turn, you cannot be offended when people choose to distance themselves from you based on you exhibiting this behavior towards them. Being a spiritual baddie is not an exam that you write only once in your life and then you're qualified forever. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-elevation. And I hope you notice the fact that this is self, which means that nobody can do this for you. You cannot hang out with traditional healers who have done the work and think that just being in their aura is going to heal you. No, you still have to go and apply whatever you may learn from them to your own life and your own spirit. When we do this, it's not just us, the humans, who elevate, but it's also our angels, our guides, our ancestors, our health, our general well-being, and most importantly, our community and our future generations. So you're not just doing this work for yourself, you are doing it for the collective consciousness, as our ancestors did before we were colonized and brainwashed into being selfish individuals who live purely to survive and further ourselves. Now that we've established that the first types of people that you need to cut from your life are people who dismiss you, make you feel small, and bring out the unhealed version of you. These people are keeping you essentially in a backsliding state on your journey. And it's usually because most of the time they are projecting their insecurities onto you. You need to understand that most people in society don't even know that they need to heal, right? They have no sense of self-awareness. Therefore, when they see someone who is trying to do better, more often than not, they are going to say things like, "You think you're better," uzenza ngcono kunathi, simply because you are trying to put yourself in a better situation, a better standard of life, a better state of existence than they are in. The second type of people that you need to cut from your life when you're elevating are people who are insecure, people who are mean, and people who are emotionally immature. These types of people are often needy, extremely attention-seeking, and have poor communication skills because they have not done the work that they need to do on themselves. And a lot of the time, these are behaviors that they have learned early on in childhood in order to get ahead in life. These people are going to keep you in a constant state of self-doubt, questioning yourself, questioning whether you're making the right moves, belittling you, being negative towards you, purely for trying to do better. You need to avoid these types of people at all costs, especially if they are your family, especially if they are your friends. You need to cut them out because you spend a lot of time around these people, and whatever your environment reflects back to you is what you generally believe yourself to be. You also will end up absorbing these behaviors. So as soon as you sense chaos and confusion, someone constantly wanting to be within your energy field, someone constantly being mean to you, only communicating when they choose to, you need to consider cutting them out of your life, or they are going to cause chaos and a slowdown in the journey and the path that you are on. The third type of people that you need to cut from your life are people who lack integrity, who lack boundaries, and who lack respect. People who do not have integrity are not loyal to you. Therefore, you cannot trust them to support you on your journey. People who do not have boundaries will more often than not disrespect your boundaries. They will not care what it is that you enforce in order to protect yourself on your journey to self-discovery and self-elevation. People who lack respect also often lack respect for themselves. And this means that you would be associated with people who essentially do not love themselves, When you hang around people who don't love themselves, that energy is going to be contagious, and it's going to end up with you not respecting and loving yourself, you going against the boundaries that you set up for yourself and others, and you not having integrity in the things that you say and do. The fourth type you need to cut is people who abandon and sabotage themselves, because clearly that means they have a propensity to abandon and sabotage you as well. Those behaviors, again, are very contagious. Those people can also be very dangerous. They will tend to act impulsively, only thinking in a panic or stress mode, a dysregulated state of existence, not considering how it may affect themselves, let alone those who are around them. The fifth type, people who are constantly trauma dumping, complaining, and being chaotic. This may be in terms of their general communication, it may be in terms of their behavior, it may be in terms of their lifestyle. What this is telling you is that these people literally have nothing going on. They also do not have a solid support structure. So if they are coming to trauma dump on you already, it's telling you that they see you as a dumping ground for their problems. And you need to ensure that you have boundaries up to protect yourself from these types of people if you are not in a position to cut them out of your life. Individuals who also are constantly complaining or constantly in a chaotic state of existence are people who are lazy to do anything to fix their lives. They have a victim mentality. They just want you to feel sorry for them. One of the things that indicates this type of person to me and generally terrifies me is someone who comes into a therapy session and immediately begins crying and complaining. There's a difference between crying because you're emotional, because you feel relief that you finally have found someone that you can relate to, versus someone who is crying purely because they want to set themselves up as a victim. These are extremely dangerous people. They will throw you under the bus at the times when you need them the most. They will not care about how you are affected as long as they come out of the situation unscathed. Also, if the person leads a chaotic lifestyle, that means your lifestyle and your life and your existence, likewise, is going to be chaotic, because chaos is contagious. Chaos disturbs peace, and chaos destroys everything that is in its path. The sixth type is people who take part in malicious gossip, negging, as well as bullying, more especially if it's in a group setting. These are extremely dangerous people. When they exhibit this behavior towards someone who has not exhibited this behavior towards them, it means that they have wounds within themselves that they have not dealt with. There are insecurities. There is a sense of brokenness that exists within them. And instead of taking the time to go and do the work to heal themselves, they project it outwards and then make other people miserable instead. That is to say, they are going to make you feel low to make themselves feel better. It also tells you that they are cowards if they are doing it in a group setting, even when it's individually. Because why do you feel so small that you need to make someone else feel less than purely for existing, living in their lane, and doing their own thing? I cannot stress enough to you how dangerous these people are. So at the very first sign of bullying, negging, mean behavior, cut these people out of your life. The seventh type of people that you should cut out of your life is people who are constantly the victim. Any situation that they tell you about, they are the victim, somebody else did them wrong. These people have a huge lack of accountability. They are not able to look at themselves and say, yes, you know what? I effed up in that situation. I messed up. I was wrong. And it also gives you a clue as to the fact that this person might have some sort of problem mentally. It may also indicate that this person may have some sort of narcissistic complex because they are unable to see themselves as ever being wrong. They are constantly having things happen to them and not being the source of the things happening. The eighth type, people who only interact with you when things are going very well for them, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, when things are going very badly for them. This indicates to you that you don't really hold any set value in this person's life. They only see you as being convenient for them to acknowledge when things are going great. When things are going great for these people, they're not even coming to you to share with you in a celebratory tone. They are coming to brag and show off. They are trying to make themselves feel great by showing you how much better off they are than you. On the other hand, when things are really bad for them, they're usually coming to siphon your energy. Again, they probably want you to feel sorry for them. Oh, woe is me, my things are going sideways. People who truly value you will acknowledge, accept, and come to you at all the stages in their life. And when they do, they will come at you in an appropriate manner. The ninth type, another very dangerous one, is people who try to tell you who you are. It is extremely insidious, pathetic, and psychotic for another human being to try to gaslight another person into believing certain things about themselves. People who truly love, respect, and value you should amplify who you think you are already. If you believe that you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're accomplished, then those people should echo it back to you. People who make you question those beliefs are dangerous people. They do not care about you. They often see you as competition. And again, going back to what we said about insecure people, they will usually try to project their own insecurities onto you. So when they try to tell you who you are, it's usually to dim your lights. It's to make you question yourself. It's to make you feel less than. You need to cut these people immediately from your life. And if it's a behavior that you exhibit, you definitely need to work on that, because that one is very problematic and is going to keep you from elevating on your spiritual and healing journey. The 10th type is people who parentify or infantilize you. When people parentify you, generally, it is used as a means to make you responsible for the things that go wrong in their life. When people infantilize you, it is usually to keep you in a state of being small. They want to be the mother goose or the father figure. And you would see this a lot in religious institutions, specifically the Christian church. They want you to constantly or eternally be a child that seeks guidance, that is unsure of themselves, that needs to be told where to go in life, what to do, how to think, how to feel. You need to cut these people from your life ASAP. The 11th type is people who study you versus getting to know you. I could spend a whole hour on this particular topic because there are so many different scenarios that could be playing out here. But more often than not, these are people who are trying to get proximity to you for some or other reason. They are not interested in actually getting to know who you are as a person. They are wanting to use you for something. When we speak about things like energy vampires and destiny swappers, they fall into this category. These people will usually study your social media. They will study you in social settings, but when it comes to you being in an intimate setting, having a chat and connecting, they're not curious about you. They don't ask about you. They don't make the efforts to try and spend time with you and get to know you. They are simply studying you to fuel, to feed, or to confirm something about you that they assume or believe. The 12th type of people that need to be cut are people who affect your mood and your vibration negatively. More often than not, these are usually bare minimum people. They show up in their unhealed or wounded states, and instead of using their chest as a sensible adult to tell you, hey, today I feel like this, or actually having the sense to stay home and not bring their BS around you, they're going to bring it around you because misery loves company. The right type of people that you should have around you is people that raise up your vibration. They should reflect back to you the way that you think about, the way that you feel, the way that you see yourself. Remember as well, people can only meet you as far as they have met themselves. The 13th type, people who shame you. People who constantly bring up negative aspects of your life, people who constantly bring up your past. These people want to keep you in a state of shame. And when people are doing that, it's a very disgusting behavior. It's usually because you have made them feel uncomfortable and insecure about who they are. And because they don't actually have any idea of any faults within you, or they don't know you to be a so-called bad person, they are then going to bring up that one little negative thing that you did way back when. You need to stay away from such people, especially within family dynamics. A lot of toxic and dysfunctional families thrive on projecting shame, especially onto the younger members of the family. It allows them to control you because every single decision that you try to make, in the back of your mind, you will have that thought of shame. What if I go out into the world and become better than my parents? Then you feel shame. Who will my parents stay behind with? Maybe I disappointed my parent that one time in the past, and now you stay there because you want to make up for the sense of shame that they have instilled in you, and which is oftentimes not even valid. The 14th type of people that you need to cut in order to elevate is people who are obnoxious, people who are ignorant, and people who are uneducated. Now, this is not to be classist in any way, shape, or form. I'm speaking in terms of your personal elevation journey. People who are uneducated are going to find it difficult to understand when you have aspirations of being educated. People who are ignorant are going to have a hard time being around someone who is self-aware. People who are obnoxious are going to have a difficult time understanding someone who is able to regulate their emotions. A lot of the time, these are the same people who end up pulling you down to their level, and they are going to keep you there. A classic case of this is the girl or boy or in between who makes it out of the hood, and every December when you go back home, the friends that you hang out with just want you to drink. They don't care about your accomplishments. They don't care about your self-elevation journey. They just want you to continue where you left off the last time that you saw them. You are going to remain in that state, and you're going to have a difficult time climbing back out of it. The 15th type, people with poor spiritual hygiene. That one is pretty straightforward. I don't think I even need to go too far into that one. All spiritual infections are contagious. No matter how great your personal spiritual hygiene might be, If other people are not maintaining spiritual hygiene, they are going to bring you down to their level. You need to remember your chemical equations. You need to remember your physics equations. In order for things to be balanced or at equilibrium, there must be an equal flow from both sides. If the spiritual hygiene, the positivity, the good vibes are only coming from one side and being absorbed on the other side, it's going to cause a constant imbalance in the system. It's going to create chaos. So you need to cut these people, because these people are not going to help you amplify the positive aspects of your spiritual hygiene. They are going to make you backslide in your own spiritual hygiene practices. The 16th and final type is people who have poor ambitions and poor financial management skills. When you are trying to do better for yourself, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you on your journey, who are going to have the capacity to clap for you, who are not going to always make it about themselves and try to compete with you or try to bring you down. When people also have poor financial management skills, you spending time with them means what? It means that either you are going to be sucked into a similar behavior pattern, maybe impulsive spending, or on the other hand, you are going to be forced to be the one who becomes financially responsible for them. In conclusion, it is very possible to change or influence your environment and the people in it to elevate to your level, but a lot of the times it's very difficult, if at all possible. I am speaking about instances wherein it has become impossible. You have tried to talk, you have tried to go to therapy, you have tried to be a positive influence and example, and it is simply not working. You are exerting too much energy to try and prove your worth to these people, to try and prove the value or the benefit of them having you in their life. I would love it if you joined me for my next spiritual baddie camp, where we'll be having group therapy as we improve our own self-awareness and also go through some exercises and worksheets in order to determine how we are relating to our environment and how our environment and the people in it are relating to us. Do remember to subscribe to get access to this camp and other resources that can help you on your self-elevation journey. I would love to hear your thoughts, your feelings, and your own experiences in the comments. And I'm looking forward to connecting with and getting to know each and every one of you in our next spiritual baddie camp session. Emakosin.